Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to continue our series on PowerShell for non-IT individuals, such as teachers, attorneys, students, and office workers. How you can streamline your tasks to be more efficient in your every day-to-day job. So what we're going to do today is learn about select object. This is one of the most used things I use all the time. There's many ways to customize it, but today we're going to learn the basics, and perhaps, if given enough time, we'll do one slightly more advanced thing. So let us perhaps start with get child item, and we will look at, let's say, let's look at everything within this folder. So you have directories, we have files over here, multiple different things. Now we're given a couple of headings by default. We have mode, last write time, length, and name. And the length is blank for directories because it's just a holding place. The files will have a length, and this is in bits. But there are many other attributes which we can see. So let's say let's pipe this. There we go. Select object, and let's just put an asterisk for now, meaning everything. Let's look at everything. And we can see much more information now. So this is a directory, and we can see that it has a name. We have a PS child name, base name, parent name, if it exists or not, root folder, many things. If we scroll down to some of our files, we can see a file combined CSV. We can see the name here. We can see the extension. We can see the directory full name, which is the directory plus the name. Many different dates and timestamps we can work with. And so there might be some instances you want to work with some columns or some attributes, but not others. So what we can do is say get child item, and let's just do it for the files. And we can select object, and let's say we want the name, extension perhaps, and let's say the length. Well, here we go. We can get just those columns that we were wanting to see. Now let's take a look at our trusty file that we have been doing earlier, which is the grades file. We're going to import CSV, and that is grades CSV. Let's take a look at A. And here we do have the CSV file that we've worked on for multiple different videos. And right now, A has 3 columns: student, assignment, and grade. So we can do the same. Let's say we just want to see student. I'm going to do select object, student, and we get just the students. Or if we want to say grade, we get just the grades. You can also rearrange things based upon the order that you type them in. So now instead of student, assignment, grade, it's grade, student, assignment. So we're going to go ahead and move on to a slightly different topic of parsing strings. Because let's say we want this same scenario, but instead of it being the student's name together, we may want the first name and last name, surname separate. So let's talk about parsing strings really quick. So let's put a new variable called string, and let's make it equal to howdy to Hindi. So if we say string, we are going to see Howdy to Hindi all at once. Now, whenever you are looking at an object, you can count through different aspects of it. And you can count them using the brackets. And similar to other programming languages, the numbering in PowerShell starts at 0. So let's just see what happens if I say string 0. I get an H for the first part of Howdy to Hindi. If I do a 1, I get the next letter, O. Well, that is helpful. That is something that we can use at different times. But let's say I want to split this by words instead. We would need to see something which we can split this by. And in this scenario, we have spaces. So let's try that. Let's say string. If you do a dot, you get multiple different things that you can do with it. Sometimes it's different measurements, and sometimes it's different actions. So what we can do is we can say split, and let's say we want to split it by a space. So we're going to do that space within quotes. You can do single or double quotes. And let's hit enter. And we can now see Howdy to Hindi, but it's now separated it into 3 different parts. We can go ahead and use our brackets again and specify which part do we want, the Howdy, the to, or the Hindi. So if we say 0, we get Howdy. If we're saying 2, 0, 1, 2, we will get Hindi. And sure enough, we do get Hindi. So we can use this in our example earlier of select object. This time let's get only the name. Oops, they weren't names, they were students. So let's get the students. Now we can create a custom object here. And so you're going to want to do a comma between each one, just as we did earlier, like student grade. But instead of grade, we're going to put a custom attribute, and we're going to put it in something that looks like this. So we're going to have an @ symbol, which is signifying the start of an array. And we're going to have 2 sets of curly brackets. In between the openings of the first 2, we're going to say name equals, and in quotes, either single or double quotes, you want to say what it's called. Let's say last name. We're going to hit a semicolon, then we're going to say expression equals. So over here, we're saying what the new column is called. Now we have to give it inside this next curly brackets the formula to calculate this new field. So we've seen in a previous video this underscore, $_ which is also the same as $PS item. And we're going to do a dot to say we're wanting to look at student. So before I do anything, let me just hit enter right now so we can see what we're doing so far. So far we have student and the students. We have a new column that we call last name. And right now nothing has changed because we are simply calling the student as we had earlier, the student column. So let's continue on and modify this a bit more. Let's say split. Let's split it by that empty space, and let's do 1. And the reason we're doing 1 is because we're wanting the last name, and the numbering starts at 0. So now we have last name, student, last name. And we can do something similar if we want to do the first name. So I'm going to copy this, do a comma, paste it in. Now I'm just going to change the name to first name and 0. And sure enough, we now have student, the last name, and then the first name. So I hope this video helped. We're going to go into much more detail and much more complicated custom fields rather than just splitting a name into two. So please stay tuned for new videos. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. Comment down below if you have any questions or if there's any other topics you want to see. I would appreciate a subscribe, and thank you for watching.